try to get out this there. Alright. Just woke up. I'm pretty tired. Last night, this is gonna be a review of Poltergeist, the 1982 film, directed by, I think it's like Toby Hopper. And I remember reading that it was also like co-directed by Steven Spielberg, even though he didn't get enough credit for it, even though he did produce it. And that's gonna be a problem for me. So Poltergeist. I watched this film because I feel like the horror genre is a genre that, you know, it has a lot to live up to because, as far as I'm concerned, horror movies usually fail. There's never been one movie that I feel like has been truly terrifying for every person that has tried watching it. Like they say horror movies like Jaws. Um, See, I feel like that's not really like it's scary, but it's more like an inner fear. I don't know. Anyway, I think the best horror movie is The Shining, which came out in 1980. Because it's creepy, eerie, and it doesn't really rely on cheap thrills. You know, it's just well done, good acting. It's just a great movie. Now with Poltergeist, I looked up the top. I went on Google and I just searched up like top horror movies, and was Poltergeist was consistently in the top 20. So I thought, all right, I'll give it a shot, and it opens up well enough. There's great filming. Well, it's pretty good filming, interesting. The acting's solid. I really like the parents. They like taking care of their kids. They seem to get along with their kids, but at the same time, they smoke pot. They're smoking pot in their bedroom, just the parents. So the parents have a good connection, and they also have good connection with their kids. Yeah, they have good connection with their kids. Um, it's pretty comedic in the beginning. There's like the part with the construction workers checking out the daughter, and she fucking gives them the fu, and then the mom's laughing at that. I found that pretty funny. And then like once all the scary things start happening, I mean, yeah, I understand it came out in 1982, but I don't know. Like it's scary at first. Like the tree comes out and grabs the son. It's just like whoa. I mean, it's not really scary. For the first half of the film, I'm not scared at all. I'm just more interested. It's a good movie. It's not really scary, but it's a good movie. And then after that, it just pretty much drags on and on and on, and it's just like not really scary. There's one part that's kind of scary that I won't say, but it's not even that scary. Um, it just drags on for way too long. Um, there's one part where they hire like I forget what you call them, but it's like the woman that understands the dead and the paranormal activity, and she kind of speaks to it and she understands what's going on. And she's like this little tiny girl. She's like a dwarf almost, and she has the most annoying voice in the world, and she just ruins the movie for me completely. Like it's fucking annoying. I think part of the problem with the movie is also the music, and that's where like the Steven Spielberg comes in. But um, the music, it's not creepy or eerie. It's more uplifting than anything else, and it doesn't. Not that it doesn't match what's going on, but it doesn't do the scenes any justice. Rather than make them scary, it kind of just makes them. It kind of makes you hopeful that the people will get out of the situation, and it's not. I don't know. I just don't really find it scary. Lastly, as far as I'm concerned, this is a Steven Spielberg film, and for me, that already kicks the film down. I really don't like Steven Spielberg. I mean, except for a few films, but a majority of his movies, I feel like, are just cliche. They're just cliched movies. You know, they kind of glorify that a good ending will be there. You know, it's all about the good endings and the music. You know, I just don't. There's just something about it. It's almost cheesy. It's well. It's like a. I feel like Steven Spielberg movies are well done, cheesy movies. Um, Especially with this movie, it's just it could have been. It's not a bad movie, but it could have been so much better, so much scarier. Maybe it's also because my perception of movies nowadays. Movies nowadays, most horror movies nowadays suck, but they still have this atmosphere that's completely different than like the 80s and the 90s with the music. A lot of horror movies don't even use music, they just use noise cues. Um, but yeah, I think The Shining's the best horror movie, and that came out 2 years earlier. So Poltergeist, I was extremely disappointed. It's the first movie in a while that I actually thought it was okay at the beginning, and then I couldn't make it to the end. I had to skip the part where the wife goes into the light and they're holding onto the rope. That part just dragged on way too long. I just skipped. I had to skip through that part. I mean, I saw what happened, but I just kind of skipped through it all the way until the end. I just couldn't make it. My rating of this film, I'm seriously thinking like D plus. I think D plus is a real thing. It might just be D, but D C minus. It was just a huge disappointment. Not very scary. Um, I think it was poorly executed in terms of what it could have been. So yeah.